Chapter 20 Cookie Crumbles. Everyone looked at Lex. Then, everyone looked at Lena. Lena's friends were looking to her for guidance. Lex and his lackeys were trying to intimidate Lena. And Cookie stared at Lena with one eyebrow raised, as though Lena had planned this encounter with her notorious brother all along. Lex was an evil, dangerous monster of a man, and the 5 teens and even her mom had serious cause for worry. Yet, out of all the fears that were causing a rush of adrenaline through Lena's body, what worried her the most was Cookie's stare. If Lena ever had a chance to reach Cookie, that chance was now fading. Her friends would never understand if Lena told them how much Cookie had meant to her once upon a time. At one time, the 2 girls had been closer than Lena had admitted to anyone. Major girl crush. Eric had never understood. Cookie had always been manipulative with an undeniable wicked streak, but she had been loyal to her friends. She had invited Lena to her home. She had the dominating personality of her mother and the kind but suspicious nature of her father. She could shower her friends with love one day, then turn into a vicious, paranoid bitch the next day. Yet, Lena had thought of Cookie as her best friend. But not everyone was lucky enough to be Cookie's friend, and for those people, she had always been ruthless. Lena could never reconcile the good with the bad in Cookie, who had always assumed that anyone who wasn't her friend was an enemy. It had only been a matter of time before Cookie started to think of Eric that way, and Lena had not been able to bear knowing what Cookie was thinking anymore. She had finally admitted to herself that Cookie was troubled and may have needed help. Then, Lena had betrayed Cookie. At least, that's how Cookie saw it. And maybe it was true. Lena had kept secrets from Cookie. Finally, she had confessed that she could read minds, and she convinced Cookie that she knew what Cookie was thinking. It had been a disaster. Nobody likes to be made aware of their demons. That had been difficult enough for Cookie to hear. But perhaps even worse than that, Lena had confessed that Lex Luthor was her brother. Lena hadn't anticipated how devastating that news could be to Cookie. She hadn't realized that Cookie's dad was one of the lawyers that had helped convict Lex for insider trading 2 years ago. Lena hadn't realized that Lex was the reason why Cookie's dad had installed a security system in their home that was fit for the mayor of Gotham upon hearing of Lex's escape from jail only a few months before. In an instant, Lena had gone from being Cookie's best friend to being her ex-friend, and ex-friends were the worst kinds of enemies in Cookie's eyes. In fact, Cookie never had any real friends since their friendship had ended. In Cookie's mind now, all friends wanted something from her, and she wanted something from them, and that was the extent of their friendships. Since then, Lena had felt guilty for Cookie's loss of trust in people. Cookie would never let Lena get close enough to see inside her mind again, so Lena could only see the evil transformation from the outside. Cookie had turned against Lena ruthlessly, like Anakin turning into Darth Vader, and Lena hadn't seen any light left inside of her. For the past year, nothing had changed, except Cookie had become even crueler. Then suddenly, a spark had appeared under the ice during Christmas Eve. Then again, today, back in the mall, Lena had sensed that the spark had grown into a flicker. Cookie had been trying to hide something from Lena while they had sized each other up in Victoria's Secret. Cookie had been trying to hide it from herself, so it was hard for Lena to read her thoughts clearly. But something had shattered Cookie's pride. She had been betrayed. She had been abused. She was reaping what she had sown. Lena had every right to relish this. Complete justice would have been sweet. Alex and Eric would have certainly approved if Cookie had fallen hard. But Kara had shown Lena a better way. Charity to those least deserving could change someone's heart. Experience and psychology said otherwise. Lena knew that intellectually. Personality disorders don't just suddenly go away. But Lena was trusting psychology less and less lately, and she was trusting Kara's instincts more and more. At first glance, Kara seemed crippled by a naive childlike innocence. She was easily underestimated. But Kara was neither naive or innocent. She had gone through a very tough life so far, and she had seen her share of injustice and cruelty. Even so, she still saw the goodness of people even when there was plenty of reason to doubt. It was a matter of will, and it was infectious. And somehow, even someone like Cookie responded to that goodwill. Kara had ignited something in Lena's old friend, and Lena now wanted to nurture that flicker into a flame. Lena's mind was still skeptical, but she wanted to believe that people could be redeemed. She wasn't sure if Alex and Eric could ever accept Cookie, even if her bleak soul could somehow be changed. Too much water under the bridge. But they had let Lena try anyway without saying a word. As they shopped around the mall, Cookie had tried to bury her thoughts, but Lena had discerned bits and pieces of what had happened. Eventually, the whole story of Cookie's misfortune had emerged. During the night that school let out for winter break, Cookie had apparently joined a holiday party with the whole gang from the chat room, and there had been plenty of drugs and beer to go around. Andy, also known as Watcher, had been trying to get into Cookie's pants for months, and he had been sweet-talking her for as long as Lena could remember. Lena had always thought that Andy was too nice for Cookie, and that she would hurt him, but it was the other way around. He had finally won a date with Cookie, and he had been very nice, lowering Cookie's guard. Then, at the party, he got her drunk. Very drunk. Maybe he had even put something extra in her drink, because Cookie could not remember anything after she had awoken. The rest of the drama occurred online. Lena and her friends had stopped visiting the chat room only days before, so they had missed out on the tragedy. Andy had told everyone how drunk Cookie had been at the party, and how they had sex, and how disappointed he had been. He had said some horrible things, but all Lena could sense from Cookie was the pain, not the words, because Cookie could not let herself remember what was actually said. Cookie then denied ever having sex with Andy, or even behaving the way he had claimed, but she had no memory of what had happened that night. Then, an hour after the accusations, photos from that night appeared on the student body blog, showing Cookie in the most compromising of situations. Peggy had had complete control of the blog now, so the implication was clear. Cookie's minions had risen up and stabbed her in the back. Her former friends then piled on, disclosing many secrets about what Cookie had done to them, about what she had done to Kara and Alex, and pretty much any scandal that didn't incriminate themselves as well. Cookie had been tossed from the throne to the gutter in one day. Part of Lena could not help feeling a little satisfaction at Cookie's misfortune, but Lena could also read Cookie's mind, and that intimacy made gloating impossible. Cookie had wanted to kill herself. Her popularity and ego and pride had meant everything to her, and in an instant, it had all been taken away. She had even prayed honestly for the first time in her life, out of pure desperation, because she had no hope left for her life. Then, a few hours later, a cute, awkward Santa had come to her door, giving out real gold. Even before she saw the video evidence, she knew it was Kara, and Kara had moved her. And for the next couple of days, she wondered what it all had meant. Finally, today, Cookie had seen the girls at the mall, and she had followed them around from a distance until they had entered Victoria's Secret. She had been working there during the holiday rush, but she was not there to pick up a paycheck today as she had claimed. She had just wanted an excuse to talk with them. Lena had known right away that something huge had happened. Her first thought had not been that Cookie could be redeemed. Cookie had betrayed Lena, just as she had betrayed so many other people, so she was not eager to forgive or even believe the psychic signals Cookie was giving out. But she also couldn't just let Cookie walk away without learning the whole story. As they walked throughout the mall and then headed off towards Lena's house, Lena could feel her friends' disgust and confusion, and she was eager to fill them in with what Lena was learning, but she didn't want to disturb whatever rapport and trust she was building with Cookie. They just had to trust her for a while. Lena was seeing the old friend that Cookie once was. She was returning, and maybe a new level of empathy that Cookie never had was in order. Having fallen as far as Cookie could fall, Cookie now honestly wanted to make a change in her life, and so long as she had people there supporting her, Lena believed it could happen. That is, until now, with Lex making a surprise appearance. Now, all bets were off. Now, Lena felt unbalanced and alone. Even as her friends looked to her for guidance, Cookie stared at her suspiciously. Lex grabbed Lena's hand in case she had any other thoughts of escape, but Lena felt too unbalanced to even think of that. The silence in the air filled her with dread. Everyone's eyes were on her, making her feel exposed and powerless because she couldn't feel their feelings. She couldn't sense their thoughts.